Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host, Kevin E., and this week we are going to get started at the DVC construction going on at the Grand Floridian. Here's one view you can see from the monorail, and as you go around the corner you can see they've gotten even more advanced when it comes to the staircase on the side, and they've gotten even more of the individual rooms done over on this corner here. We're making our way into the Magic Kingdom now, where as you can see, the Sleepy Hollow Refreshments building has undergone some refurbishment. And this is an unusual case because they don't have a themed scrim around the outside. Most of the time at the Magic Kingdom they do use a themed scrim. Now, we are here at the bathrooms under construction next to Columbia Harbor House. This is rumored to be the Tangled area, and as you can see from these rockwork here, they're really sparing no expense when it comes to making it look realistic. Let's take another look at what you can see around the corner with the bathrooms themselves. There's too many buildings here for me to believe this is just bathrooms, and the rumor is this is kind of a meet and greet area for Tangled. That's why you see the Rapunzel Tower here, and so I will not be too surprised if this ends up being something other than just bathrooms when all is said and done. Now, I'm showing you something from the middle of Fort Langhorne. This is on the Tom Sawyer Island. And this roof line, until recently, was home to a number of antlers. In fact, the roof behind me here was also home to a number of antlers. And I don't really have any reason to suspect it, other than the fact that the antlers have disappeared. Maybe these antlers have gone to Gaston's Tavern in Fantasyland. Now we're here at the portraiture area in Liberty Square, and this caught my eye. This guy here labeled as Pumpkinhead is somebody I have seen multiple times in the Magic Kingdom, and it kind of eats at me that I don't know who this is. I'm sure he's just a regular guest, but he always wears this kind of hat with him, and he's obviously something of a known quantity in the cast member world, so I'd love it if somebody were to chime in and tell me who exactly Pumpkinhead is. He wears a kind of Where's Waldo costume when you see him and walking around in the park. Now we switched over to Epcot. This is a somewhat new photo backdrop location near Spaceship Earth. And as you can see, it's very retro 1970s. And we are here to see Habit Heroes, which has recently reopened. So Habit Heroes originally opened in early 2012, and it was roundly denounced as being against fat people. And so they've closed it for many months now, and as you can see, they've redone completely the exterior so that the costume and comic book look of the old one has been replaced with a different kind of comic book look to the new one. There's the front entrance of Habit Heroes. Now, this was formerly the entrance. It's now, as you can see here, exit only. We'll have another look at that in a moment later on. Still sponsored by Florida Blue Cross Blue Shield and Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Couple of interactive stations at the front. We'll get back to those in a moment. This is, as we will see later, Director Jin. I wanted to show you a few of the comic book inspired artwork posters that they have outside of Habit Heroes. These are going to be our main characters, as we will see in a few moments when we go inside the training center itself. So we go through these couple of screens here and immediately land in the area that used to be the home for Lead Bottom. Now, this was the dancing studio. As you can see, they've reversed the direction for the entire show. And you now go through in reverse order. You go through the dancing area first. Now, in this dancing area, we meet Director Jin, who says hello to us and notes that there will be 3 sections, 3 simulations for saving ourselves, saving the city, and then saving the world to our experience today. And she says within this first area of saving ourselves, the sensors in the ceiling will note our individual efforts to show our power off. So instead of making us dance, Agent Q here, who we see here is Quench and is there to make sure that we defeat the Scorchers, will guide us to show off a couple of moves to defeat dehydration. Then we meet Agent Dynamo, or Agent D, tells us about the Sappers, how we can get rid of them so that we no longer feel tired. And then Agent F, or Fuel, who will help us defeat the blocker bots by eating the proper foods, although he looks a little bit here like he's going to throw up. So there he is, showing his signature move. So we go through the various moves here, and the characters appear on the screen to show us which moves to do, and you see a readout down below of where you are in the room doing your move and how you defeat the blocker bot or the scorcher or whoever it is. Now the next room continues the same villains, except this time in the kind of pole cannons you know from Toy Story Midway Mania. And you have your individual color. You're meant to attack just your own particular villain. And there's some teamwork involved here, of course. Now over to the third room. This is previously a room where we would launch things kind of missile defender style, and it's still like that, although now you use a card and RFID to do it, and you defend against invaders across all of these various worlds. Now if we take a closer look at these worlds, we'll see they are world showcase. There's Norway, there's China, for instance. And in each case you'll see someone hydrating, someone doing some activity, and someone eating the proper foods. So those are our three heroes fighting the three villains who are descending from above, and you're meant to use a kind of shield just by waving your ID card. This is another one of those World Showcase pavilions. I'm sure you see what I see here, a hidden Mickey. Another couple of those pavilions. There's Morocco, and there's Japan, and there's America. So they don't really call attention to that as World Showcase, but that is indeed what is going on. Now, Director Jin gives us this update at the very end and says that we're all Habit heroes, and we would be able to take on a further kind of goal for her or task for her. And we have three different kinds of bands or armbands to wear. Activity for red, nutrition, and hydration. And depending on which kind of band you want to take, you get a different kind of mission. Now these are theoretically the Habit heroes throughout the world. Of course, that's a little bit fake. When you actually get a mission, you're going to go to either a Universe of Energy or Mission Space or the Land Pavilion. Those are the three colors, blue, red, and green, corresponding, and this is another map, with the actual quest that you get. Here's the red quest going to Universe of Energy. So it wants you to identify your location. That was what the map was for a moment ago. And then it wants you to find the code word, universe of something, and then return to intervention. So it's a little bit easy, as you can see. It's not all that challenging, but still it's interesting that they send people out into the rest of Epcot to finish off the rest of this experience. As I mentioned earlier, this is the exit. This was formerly the entrance to Habit Heroes. Now it's just the exit, and it's kind of, I guess, the highly themed or the most highly themed exit you would see throughout Walt Disney World. Now we're switching parks here to Kilimanjaro Safaris in Disney's Animal Kingdom. The elephant enclosure has got these fences put up, as you can see here. And we're switching now to the Cali River Rapids, which has been drained. This is typically the dry season and the cold season, so they're obviously doing some infrastructure work on Cali River Rapids where they've drained the entire river. As you can see here, they've got the access to the back of Cali River Rapids closed off. Now in Splitsville, this is a picture I neglected to take the last time. It's the Vacation Kingdom mural. Now as you can see, it's very 70s in its orientation. You've got water skiing, you've got golfing, sailboating, perhaps hula. It's a very kind of resort destination approach rather than theme park heavy approach to selling us on why we would want to come here in the first place. This is an entire wall of the Splitsville area, as you can see on the ground floor, and I just love that it's so nostalgic. It fits right in with the 1950s theme of Splitsville. Switching parks one more time, this is Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, as you can tell. And what caught my attention on this particular occasion, and the reason I'm taking the picture, is this guy right here. He is the German mechanic who is dead, lying on the ground. Now, in previous years, maybe you've seen it, this mechanic in Indiana Jones got into a fight here in front of the plane, and the mechanic was kind of chopped up by the propeller. Of course, it was just a descending trapdoor that he went down amid some steam. Now maybe they've decided that the effect just doesn't work, but whatever the case, now Karen Allen's character, the Marion character, would shoot her machine gun and shoot the German mechanic over here rather than having him killed by the plane itself. It's a change from the past, not a big deal, but this is Photo Finds, and my job is to show you stuff you don't otherwise normally see. Here we are in front of Star Tours, where the Forest Speeder has been taken away for maintenance or some other reason. I assume it'll be back before Star Wars weekends. And then this is something that's been around for many months now. I just haven't seen it. Lights, Motors, Action is not a show I go see all the time. The Herbie sequence has been replaced by the Lightning McQueen sequence, where he chases a bad guy, apparently in this old 1970s car, with this missile on top of it, and Lightning McQueen chases him into a corner where he kind of blows up. So it was an entertaining, enjoyable section to Lights, Motors, Action, and made the show that much more tolerable instead of feeling dated. Now finally, on our way out, we give a brief moment to look at these Mickey Mouse hands. Now the normal color for these are white, but as you can see, they now sell them in Mickey mitts, as well as in terms of the white, as well as the pink and orange combination, so you can have a slightly different Mickey mitts. I haven't really seen anyone use them, but I saw them for sale, so I thought I would call attention to them. That does it for this week. We thank you as always for your attention, and we will catch you next time.